Welcome to The Naked Foodie. My name is Christian Mark Jacobs, and today we're going to be cooking one of my all-time favorite dishes, Tuscan chicken. I first visited Tuscany in 2014, and when I tasted this dish, I immediately knew that I had to learn how to cook it. And ever since, every time I prepare it for a dinner party, the crowd goes wild. I can't wait to share it with you today. Alright, it's time to get started with our Tuscan chicken, but before we do, I want to tell you a little bit about the ingredients that I've chosen for today. First off, I've chosen chicken thigh as opposed to chicken breast for two reasons. First of all, it's very flavorful. Secondly, it doesn't dry out as easily as chicken breast. We're going to be, of course, putting salt and pepper on the chicken, and then also some traditional Italian herbs. Here we have thyme, we have rosemary, and we also have basil. Now all of these are dried because, of course, I always have them in the spice cabinet, so it makes it very easy and convenient for me. And then we're going to be using fresh lemon to give it a little twist, and rosemary from my garden. I use fresh rosemary for two reasons. It's very fragrant, and also it's so beautiful when we're plating the food. It's going to add a lot when juxtaposed with the yellow lemons. So with that being said, let's get started. Let's make some Tuscan chicken. Alright, so let's get started. The first thing that we're going to do is we're going to pour a little bit of our extra virgin olive oil on our chicken thigh. That's going to give it a nice moist texture so that we're able to add all of the herbs on top, and it's going to stick really nicely. Before I do that though, I'm going to take my brush and I'm just going to brush that over so that it's evenly applied. There we go. Now remember, I salted this 8 hours in advance. Also, I put a little pepper on it so that it could really soak into the muscle fibers of the chicken thigh. Next, I'm going to take a little bit of thyme. It smells so good. And I'm just going to sprinkle that over ever so lightly. Now you don't want to go too heavy on the herbs because if you do, it's going to be a little bit overwhelming. These herbs can be quite strong. Right here I put a little too much, so I'm just going to brush a little bit of that off. If you make a mistake, no problem. Alright, next we're going to use rosemary. Now again, with the rosemary, you don't want to use too much. Just sprinkle a little bit there. That's perfect. Alright, and then lastly, dried basil. I love basil. I always have fresh basil in my garden, and dried basil in the pantry as well is a must. Alright, that's already looking good. It's nicely coated there in the seasoning. Now the next step is I'm going to take a half of a lemon from my leftover lemon slices here, and I'm actually just going to squeeze it on top so that the lemon juice is evenly distributed amongst the chicken thighs. If some seeds fall on top of the chicken thigh, no problem. You can just brush those off later. No worries. Alright, our lemon has been squeezed on top of the chicken. The next step is we're going to take these lemon slices here and we're going to distribute them over our chicken. Now keep in mind, these have already been salted and they already have pepper on them, but I'm going to put a little extra pepper. I'm really into ensuring that the meat or the protein is sufficiently salted and also has enough pepper. Of course, you don't want to overdo it. That looks like just enough there. Okay, give it a little shake. And then nextly, I'm going to take some of our fresh rosemary. Always take time to smell it because it smells so good. And I'm just going to break off little pieces here and there so that as this roasts in the oven, those flavors really infuse into the meat. That's very important. I'm going to take the sprig as well and just throw it on the side. It's going to add a little additional flavor. This is a dish that I've really been making for years, and it's just so easy as well. So few ingredients, and all of the ingredients are fresh, many of them from your garden if you have an herb garden like I do. Just about finished. I'm going to apply a little more extra virgin olive oil. Always makes it taste good, and that's just going to make sure that the chicken skin gets really crispy. And then also we have some minced garlic here, and I'm basically just going to put it all over the chicken. My rule of thumb is you can never have enough garlic. So we're just going to cover this here until we have just enough on top And that's going to really roast very well with the olive oil, and it's going to infuse into the chicken. It's going to be delicious. Okay, so the next thing is we're going to pop this in the oven. I've already been preheating my oven to 190 degrees Celsius. And I'm going to pop that in for about 30 minutes depending upon how many chicken thighs that you're cooking, and also depending upon the weight of the chicken. Alright, so our Tuscan chicken is in the oven. We're going to know that it's done in about 30 minutes more or less. If you want to be sure, you can stick a thermometer into the meat, and it should be approximately 165 degrees Fahrenheit. And that's how you're going to know that it's for sure done. Until then, if you'd like some sides for your Tuscan chicken, I highly recommend creamy mashed potatoes and roasted capsicum. They make a great pairing. Alright, it's the moment we've been waiting for. Our Tuscan chicken is finally done. This is such an easy dish to prepare, and it's one that your friends and family will surely love and appreciate time after time as they come to your house for parties.